Welcome to Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes podcast that cuts through the bullcrap and gets to the core of what players need to know. I'm your host, Egnards, joined by the temporary co host that just won't seem to take a hint, Fat Phillip. We have an info dump the size of my ego to ignore, so strap yourselves in because this is Zeta Protocol. Oh my God, Phil, today has been a day. I woke up at like 5 in the morning. I had multiple accounts to get shit done on. I went to work at 7:30. I generally on Wednesdays get home early, but my instructor is on a work trip at her primary job, so I had to stay until 8.
How
I
dare she, by the way?
No, yeah, look, screw you. How dare you make money and still work for me for a few hours a week? Um, Even still, on Wednesdays, I normally have like 45 minutes in my office where I can just decompress. I can do my fleet run. I can like relax. I can take a 20-minute nap. Two of my younger instructors had like 40 questions about how to teach, which, like, look, I get it. Awesome. Great. I'm so happy that you want to learn how to do this better. But I have gone back to back to back to back. I got home at 8:15. I had to help somebody with their GAC right into Zeta Protocol. I am so excited for sleep. I cannot wait to hit my fucking bed tonight. I am hoping that you had a better day than I did.
My Wednesdays are weird. It's my office day, so,
Okay.
like, it normally depends on how things at the office go. I'm in the middle of this project where we have to review my everybody who has access to our system,
Hmm.
and I'm spearheading the review of that access, which it's 71,000 lines of data. Each line can potentially be 1 or like 60 different transactions that you have access to.
Hmm.
And people are like, Phil, how am I supposed to know what I'm looking at? And I'm like, I don't even know what I'm looking at. But, like these people report to you. You said they should have this. So, like, it's been fun.
And they put
You
you in
know, my,
charge.
I said this to user in Discord the other day that I was like, you would be very surprised what Fat Phil does on a day-to-day basis. I might not be, I always used to joke I was never on the totem pole, but I
Mhm.
was the ground with which the totem pole sits on. Without the ground, the totem pole does not stand up. And now we're at least a little bit, further on the totem pole,
Now
but
you're on there.
yeah.
You're like that
And I'm
first.
the
I don't
bot.
know what you call each section, but you're
Yeah,
like
I'm
that
the
first,
first.
like, falcon head with the big nose sticking out. That's
Yes.
you.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. I will say last week we did have some response. Normally, we don't get a lot of comments on YouTube. We don't get too many comments on Discord. For the first time, we had multiple people talking about your, what is it, bush apple? What is
Bush
this
apple
beer?
latte.
Bush apple light, or is that? Did I say that right?
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Bush apple I mean, yeah, bush apple latte if you're cool.
Oh well, I'm not. We had multiple people on both sides of the coin. Some people are like, "Oh, that is the shit," and other people are like, "Yeah, I expected that from Phil." Like, that, there's no excuse for drinking it. I haven't found it. I have been looking, but I haven't gone to like the real
It's
liquor stores yet.
well, it even my local one doesn't have it. I have a buddy that owns a distributor like an hour or so from me,
Okay.
and he's very he's a genius businessman. He knows that people like it, so he had somebody buy like a whole pallet,
Okay.
and we did the math. We did the math. You need to drink a 6-pack a day for an entire year to finish the pallet.
Oh my god.
Which, like,
Do you know? Did you do the math on like what a pallet costs from a distributor? Because I'm curious about that.
I don't know what he charged him.
Okay.
I don't ever, like I would never ask my friend like, "Oh, like, did you give him a discount?" Or like, I will never ask him for one because like that's not why I
Yeah,
buy beer
no,
from him. I buy
of course.
um
And when it comes to like friends, and I will say this, I was having a conversation about this today too. I own a small business. I do. If it's very rare in my business where friends are going to come in, but I do have friends with kids. I generally do give them a discount. They don't ask for it either. I have very good friends, but I do try to give them a discount. When I go into business with friends, or if I like go to friends' businesses, I demand to pay full price. Right? Like I
yeah,
want
yeah.
to support my friends. I want to support their businesses. Um, I had a friend that owned a bagel shop in town, and I met him because I was in a wedding party with him, and it was my favorite bagel shop. I used to go there every week. But once I met him, once we started going to like wedding events, if I went in there, he would just comp my meal every single time.
Oh.
And I got to the point where I would sneak in and I would like throw a hoodie on and I would like
Yeah.
hide and I would try to not be seen in like because this was the best bagel place in town. There were no bagels that compared to this place. But I would try to hide in line. But he'd sit in the back with his camera. Like he brought me into the back one time to show me his little office with the cameras. And he's like, "You motherfucker. You can't come in here. Like, how dare you think that I can't afford to treat you to breakfast?" And I was like, man, it's not about that. It's I love your
Yeah, yeah.
bagels. I want to support you. I can also afford breakfast, man. Like I can have a bagel and a coffee. Like, please, I'm not saying you're poor. I got to the point where I stopped going because I felt weird about like getting a free breakfast every like Saturday and Sunday morning.
There's a pizza place near us. It's called Maria's. And
Okay.
Mario and Maria are like off the boat Sicilian. And
Hmm.
for like my 30th, we ordered off the menu. Like we'll just call them sometimes and be like, "Hey, we're having a big group. Can you make us stuff that isn't even on their menu?" And they'll make it, make it
Yeah.
for us and everything. Um my dad, when he was in a sales rep, he would get lunch from them all the time. And so they would try to like give him a discount when his company was paying. And my dad was like, "Listen, if you want to do it when I'm paying," he's like, "that's one thing. Don't ever do it." He's like, "Upcharge my company for all I care." Right. But
Yeah.
they would try to like give us free food. And so they would have this little tip jar. And we would just, whatever like we knew we were gonna pay, we just start throwing it in the tip jar because it would go to Mario's wife, Maria. And that was
I mean,
our way
that's
of
what you
paying.
do. And don't get me wrong, like if I go to a business and I start to know the people there like through business, and if I get comped a meal every once in a while, cool. Like that's the cost of doing
Yeah.
business. But when it's every time, I'm like, guys, like I'm trying to help. Like I know my dollars alone aren't helping you, but like this is a business transaction, and I want the same respect when you come to me. I don't want you to think that you just get free things, from me all of the time. But I am the same way
Yeah.
too. You get something comped, you throw it in the tip jar. It's like, great,
Yeah.
this
Like
is going to someone.
I don't call my friends to get a discount. I call my friends because I'm gonna pay somebody, and I'd rather pay
I'd
you.
rather I'd rather pay somebody that I know, right? But
Yeah,
it is still a business transaction, and I want to pay also because if you fuck up, I don't
oh,
want to
yeah.
sue you. I don't want to sue you. I don't want to like treat you like shit, but I want to be able to have a business discussion and say like, listen, man, like this is a transaction. I paid you. This is the thing. Like, what are we gonna do about it? As adults, as respectable adults. Um,
Yes.
we have like it again. It's one of those times where we had a million things happen literally today.
Yes.
I think I have sort of gotten caught up on all of it, but it's been such a busy day that I am not even sure. But at the same time, it is one of those days where I don't necessarily want to talk about every single little thing because I don't necessarily think that every single little thing is important for right now. Does that make
Correct.
sense?
I would agree.
Okay.
Yes.
So the first thing I want to do is I just want to kind of like look at the update, and I know you have a little rant here, and we'll allow you your space to rant, because
I need it,
my
guys. I apologize in advance to some, but we this is an important part of today.
yeah, and I'm gonna give you that space to rant mostly because my wife is FaceTiming me right now she's out on a business trip. So I need a minute to be like, I'm filming right now. So we're gonna go into the update. We will put this up over here. There's the game, and here we go. We got our update sometime around like 3 p.m. I don't know the exacts. Basically, we got the kits for the New Republic characters who were not
Yeah.
technically released. Colonel Ward, Grogu, and we are now lovingly calling Grogu and the ants because
Yep.
I'm not saying that every single time. We got
No
the
way.
Rotta kit, which I do want to talk about because it's insane.
Yes.
We got a bunch of bug fixes. I'm skipping something on purpose. Nothing that necessarily looks super big. Nothing that looks like, oh, this was like a huge issue in the game going on. And
Yeah, I
then,
would
of
agree.
course, Velsartha shards are now farmable from Cantina Battle. This is a first. Cantina Battle 9C. Go ahead.
So this is one of those moments where Capital Games, in their infinite wisdom, is like, hey, here's this great brand new way to farm signal data. We made all these great changes to Cantina to make your life easier. And then they decide to throw one of the new characters on that in that new node that costs 20 now. Like that is it is ridiculously more expensive. Not only is it, I don't care that it's a Cantina node per se, right? Like if it was a
Okay.
16 node, whatever, but it's a 20 node. These are the new nodes. Like this was supposed to be like the helping us get better in the game. It is all you could make an argument here that if you do your refreshes and you get like one shard a day, which is going to happen at times where you're going to get one drop of a shard and spend 100 crystals to do it. It's fucking cheaper to buy it in shipments at that point. Right? Like that is, I don't understand sometimes when they do things like this. Like, do you think about like the community response to this? 95% of this game does not have Vel at 7-star like somebody else in this podcast. So all the rest of us are getting fucking bent over, no dinner beforehand, no warning. I mean, it's I think what the frustrating part is the expectations on what we have to do with energy are up here and it's not spread out. We have not got a ship character now since when was the last character that went to a fleet node?
I could not even tell you.
None of the anniversary characters did.
Pirates. We got like
So
4 pirates in a row that were fleet.
yeah, like so that's I mean we're approaching a year for pirates, right? Like we're getting close to that being a
I mean,
year
I'll buy
ago
it. Yeah, sure.
because the clones they're accelerated now, right? Are they who's the character? There's somebody who just went accelerated
Somebody
today.
just went accelerated today, but I think I deleted the
Oh, I
message for it.
100% deleted that.
I
Was
really
it in the
don't even look
newsletter?
at them. I don't think
Yeah,
that
I'm
those
trying.
go to the newsletter.
No, I trying to remember. No, don't they? I would have swore it was in the update at some point, but somebody was
It is
accelerated very
not in the
recently.
update notes. Yeah, no, there was somebody
Um,
today. I just didn't pay attention. I don't look at those things at
yeah,
all.
I didn't either. It might have been Captain Silvo. Was it Captain Silvo? Hold on, I'm gonna look now. But yeah, so you think it's been how long that we've had a character go to fleets? So we've been forced to spread our regular energy. And now it's like another I feel slap in the face. And especially for a character like Vel. Now, this is a bit super nitpicky, but like she's this second character.
Yeah.
And the problem I have now is like, I'm going to want Vel at 7-star sooner rather than later. Like with IG90, it did not matter. I was like, I can wait. But as soon as Cinta is farmable, you're going to want Vel at 7-star because then the whole team can be 7-star together now. So I'm just kind of pissed. I mean, I'm just kind of pissed off. I get my little rant out of the way. But yeah.
I do think it is kind of annoying because normally what ends up happening is that like you can get a normal node that is 20 energy, but that normal energy, one, it's half the price if you're refreshing, and two, it refreshes quicker. So kind of the trade-off was always that Cantina, the highest it could get was 16. It's a more expensive energy with the refreshes at 100 crystals, and also, the highest it could go is again to that 16, and now you're jumping us to that 20. It does. I know mine is 7-star, but I do agree it is to some extent. It's minor, but it is a slap in the face. When we just got these new nodes, when people are still trying to figure out how to do their signal data farming and what to do with that stuff. And now it's like, oh, by the way, we are putting something really expensive there, and we are doing it right now while you are in the throes of your Cantina farms. It does suck.
Yes.
I do agree with that.
And I've always been on the side of I hate Cantina farms because they take up my signal data. Like, I
Yes.
don't see it as, oh, I get it faster. I see it as I'm getting fucked and not getting signal data at the same time because somehow magically my drop rates are terrible. I don't want to get into it. It's a painful subject. But regardless, it frustrates me that it was one of the new nodes. If it was a 16 energy node, I'd still be PO'd. But I think because it was one of the new ones, it it felt like that time period where it was before Java.
Hmm.
Like pre-Java, everything was going to like the 20 energy hard
Yeah,
nodes.
yeah, yeah.
And I just remember feeling it was like you don't get a break. You don't get anything easy. And then for a while they got really good and everything went to 16s and then they went back to the 20s again and it sucked. But at least then I didn't need Kyrotech, so again, not a big deal. It just feels like this is like a come on guys, like give us a little bit of a break. Go to an 8, go to a 10. Move somebody to the Galactic War store for fuck's sake. Like,
It is. There's such new nodes that you're kind of like, you just put these out there. Are we really going to put new things on them right now? Like,
yeah.
are really, guys? Like, is that what's happening right now? Um, and it does lead into a discussion question for later. So we're gonna save that particular
Yes.
question for later,
Yep.
because with everything going on and it not necessarily being super important to go over everything exactly tonight, because with kits, kits are kits and they're always there. Um, we
Everybody
wanted
let
to
me
try
know when they're
something a little
using
bit new
everybody let me know how Colonel Ward does in Coliseum in the
in a month, right, like in a
yeah,
month, I think,
like
because Carson Tiva is next. I think I don't even know. I don't even
yeah,
because
he's
normally the
he's
dates are there, but they're not in this one.
yeah, he should I think I should say I hold on.
He's the next one in the
Does
newsletter.
Yeah, he's the next. I think he was the next one. He would, in my opinion, I always thought he was next because he was the one that we knew about.
Yeah,
It would
fair
not
too.
shock me. It would not shock me if we somehow got Colonel Ward next because she is next in line. I don't know if you opened up your thing.
I noticed that today too. In the
Yeah,
actual thing, I went in and I was like, wait a second, like,
like they did.
what is going on here? I I did. Like, she's here. It's R5, Zeb, Colonel Ward. And then I was like, oh, maybe it's in alphabetical order. So I started going like A, B, C, D. And I was like, no, she's not.
Zeb.
So I don't even know. I have no idea.
Like,
But
and
in the newsletter, it says, right? So if you go into the newsletter, if it's still there, it has the highlight. Oh, wait, no. Now it says Colonel Ward. I thought Carson Tiva was supposed to be next there. It says R5, Zeb. Colonel Ward is there now. Or she was there, but because her kit wasn't in game yet, maybe people were just skipping over her.
yeah,
So
so
all
yeah, so
signs
it's
do point to Colonel Ward being next.
what the fuck, man? This is okay. Now we're gonna get ready for another rant on
Here's the big problem is, so when we do Zeta Protocol, I like to think of
yes.
a punny name for the episode. And I take the name of whatever the character is or something big coming on. And in my head, I go through like my autism brain and I start going through like movie lines and movie titles and song titles. And I just start like shooting off things that work or don't work. And I had something today for Carson Tiva. Thankfully, with the other stuff going on, I changed it. Um, And Moonborn is working on that stuff now because he is, I don't know, he works and does stuff for me for some reason. Um, Capital Games, you are affecting my ability to come up with titles for these episodes when I have to figure this out ahead of time. Like I can't even go to the events tab. If I go to the events tab, it wasn't there earlier today. Though we are getting another Light Liberation because they fucked it up 2 weeks ago, which is last
Paulette.
season's era marquee, which I'm super happy about because I have it at tier 7, not 8, but I do have it high enough to get some good stuff. I need
Yep.
Capital Games to like give me my timelines so that I know what's going on.
Yes. I mean, this goes to, I think, one of those classic cases with them where sometimes I feel one, they had I understand that we data mine, and that's probably not in the spirit of the way that they do things, that we kind of found out that Rhoda and Colonel Ward and the Grogu and Ant were coming to the game.
But you know what? 10
But
years in, they know that happens.
yes, and that's always been the thing I kind of fall back on and fault them for, is that this happens, you should get out ahead of it. Change the day that you do these updates so that way we're not finding out from a data mine, we're finding out from you.
Yes.
But regardless, it's like you could have said, "Hey, there's a character in between Zeb and Carson Teva who's the fucking leader of this new team. We're going to wait to release that until,
Yeah.
you know, yeah. Now, I mean, oh man.
I fully agree. So I don't even know what kit to go over, and that's completely fine because I don't necessarily care about that right now. The one that I do want to go over though is Rotta the Hutt because he looks fun.
Dude, he
He just
looks
looks
like
fun.
a hut that's actually in shape too. It's the shape isn't just like
Now I don't want to ruin the movie for anyone who hasn't seen the movie yet, but have you seen it yet?
I've not.
Okay.
No, I have been cautious. One, like freaking children,
Oh yeah, yeah, of
time
course.
of. But it was funny. My brother was like, "Hey, would you want to take the girls to go see the movie?"
Hmm.
And I was like, "No, because I haven't seen it yet, and I don't want to take like one. I don't want to have to go there and then be like, Daddy, I need to go to the bathroom every 10 minutes." But also, like, from like from like the real parenting side, I was like, I can't take them to a movie I've never seen
Yeah,
because
yeah, yeah,
I don't want it. In case it's Star Wars, there can be some scary things. Like
yeah.
Charlie was terrified of Grand Inquisitor and Rebels for the longest time. I can't have a moment like that in the theater and then, so I was like, I'd have to see it first, but
I
have not
gotcha.
got to see it yet.
Okay. All right. Um, I, I don't. I mean, it's hard to give an opinion on a movie without giving stuff that happened in the movie. So I'll just say it was all right. I think it was fun.
Yeah, I heard somebody was like, I mean, I've seen things online where somebody was like, it was a TV movie. And I was like, that's kind of
Yeah,
my expectation.
it was fun. I
Yeah.
that's my expectation of Star Wars, and it always really has been. So if it's not like a burning pile of shit, like I'm like, okay, I'm not probably gonna watch it again, but it was fun. I enjoyed it for the
Yeah.
most part. So we have Road to the Hut.
It's not the Acolyte, it's not the
Yeah,
sequel trilogy, we're fine.
then we're good. So we have Road to the Hut, which I am surprised actually that they did release the kit today because he doesn't necessarily come to the game until the 4th marquee. And I'm surprised that they
Fifth.
released the kit.
Fourth or
The
fifth.
fourth. The fourth, you can get him to 4-star. You can get him to five
Can
star.
you?
Yes, you can get him to 5-star on the fourth, and then the 6th and 7-star come from having all of the marquees. So the reason that I am surprised that they released the kit now and put him in the game now is that we find out that he is a light side character. And I don't necessarily think that spoils anything major for the movie, but I do feel like Disney is probably more cagey about that. So I kind of expected them to hold off. But I haven't read the
Yeah.
kit in full. I do know some of the stuff. I am kind of excited for it. We will kind of get right into it and we'll try to parse through. So we have Road to the Hut. Sorry, it's Rotta the Hut, as they say in the movie. So it's Rotta the Hut, light side alignment, leader, attacker, Hutt cartel. We will skip over this stuff and go to the basic ability, Cleave the Unworthy. Final text. Deal physical damage to target enemy twice and inflict 1 stack of bleed, which can't be evaded or
Interesting.
resisted until the end of the encounter. Healing immunity and speed down for 1 turn. Reduce the target enemy's defense by 20% stacking, which can't be resisted until the end of battle. So very like anti-tank right there. If Rotta the
Yep.
Hutt was the only ally at the start of battle, reduce the target enemy's critical chance by 10%, max 50%, and Rotta gains 20 speed, max 100 until the end of battle. Rotta recovers 10% health and protection. I am going to read the synergies here. This ability really supports the rest of his kit in that it sets up bleed stacks for his special 2, reduces the enemy's defense in anticipation of his larger moves being used, and allows him some additional sustain in solo scenarios. Some
Yeah.
clarity here. How you want to rotate your skills with Rotta tends to vary by matchup and squad lineup. If Rotta is alone on the field, sometimes this is the move you want to start with to start building up speed against your opponents. So basic ability right off the bat kind of tells us, hey, we want to use him solo. So this is Wampa 2.0.
Yeah.
Another
I
character
don't know
you
how
don't bring to Relic 10.
I mean, absolutely not.
It would be funny if you brought Rotta to Relic 10 and left Wampa at Relic 9, actually. That would be quite humorous to me.
I'm
Do you have
just
any?
reading.
Yeah.
So I'm reading on GG,
Okay.
right? And it the I it just is a weird way of them saying it, but I think they're saying, yeah, deal damage to target enemy twice. So the first instance, it's just weird the way they phrase it in there. The second instance of damage won't be counterattacked, but
Okay.
the first instance can be, if that makes
Yeah.
so if you go on so if you
So
go on
I'm
GG.
in game now because you're right. We ran into this last time where it was parsed weird on the
Yeah, so
game,
G
not in the
it's
game.
not listed out. It doesn't say it in the kit.
Okay.
It's on swago.gg. It has
Okay.
the damage numbers,
Hmm.
and then it has like that plus minus 5%, and then it says on the second one won't trigger counterattack. So
Okay.
it's think about like trying to think like a Han Solo. You're gonna
Mm.
attack twice and you can get countered twice.
Yes.
Where this is kind of like, hey, we're only gonna hit you one time, but we took 2 instances of damage because it was
Yes. Yeah.
one.
Yeah. And we have battles like
Yeah,
Fennec does the same thing. She hits once but does 5 instances of damage.
correct. Yeah.
But either way, it did remind me that in the past we did have an issue because of the way things are parsed. So I've switched over to the game for the rest of his kit. So the next
Yes.
one,
Yep.
Knock 'em dead. Deal physical damage to all enemies, dispel all buffs from them, inflict 2 stacks of bleed, max 6, till the end of the encounter, and off balance on them for 2 turns. If all enemies are inflicted with off balance, Rhoda gains a bonus turn and 40% offense for 1 turn. If Rotta the Hutt had a full squad of Hutt Cartel allies at the start of battle, all other allies assist and tank allies taunt for 2 turns. If Rotta is below 50% health, this taunt can't be dispelled. While in Grand Arena, if all allies were Hutt Cartel at the start of battle. So I guess this would trigger if he was solo or if he was in a full Hutt Cartel team. This ability
Yes.
can't be evaded or resisted. If Rotta was the only ally at the start of battle, he inflicts an additional stack of bleed on all enemies, removes 10% turn meter from them, reduces the cooldown of Showboat, and he gains 50% offense for 1 turn instead. And it was 40%, so it's like 10% more. Uh, so if he's with Hutt Cartel, it's just that this
He's
ability can't be evaded or resisted.
Yeah, so The way the way I'm seeing this
Hmm.
is if the Omicron is gonna let you, hey, you use them with Hutt Cartel, you're gonna get the where
Just
is it?
the evade and the resist. That's all you're gonna get in
Um
a Hugger Tell team.
oh, if all enemies are inflicted with off balance, Rotta
Yes.
gains bonus turn. So he'll get the bonus turn and he'll get 40% offense for one turn if
Yes.
everybody's Hutt Cartel. Obviously, they're getting into the solo part of it.
Well, the bonus
You're
turn
gonna
stuff
get,
doesn't have anything to do with Hugger Tell. That's just part of their regular ability.
but it's if all enemies are inflicted with off balance, you're
Yes.
adding that Omicron. It can't be evaded or resisted, so you're gonna
Yes.
inflict that
Oh,
and automatically.
automatically. Automatically.
Yeah,
Yes. Okay.
yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah.
Yeah. The
But yeah,
synergies.
it's.
Okay. Finish. Yep.
I was gonna say it's just very interesting where everybody's saying this is Wampa 2.0, but I think it's gonna be Wampa 2.0 at least off of this ability for GAC. But
Yes.
outside of GAC, there's going to be benefits to utilizing a Hutt Cartel team.
A whole team. I would agree with
And
that.
that's I think I'd call him more Savage Press 2.0
Okay.
than
Because he's really
Wampa
only
because Savage has that utility to be a now different kind of solo than Wampa at times, but you can use him in a team and still get a lot of benefit out of him.
I see what you're saying. I think a lot of newer players would roll their eyes at you because I feel like you don't really see the solo Savage anymore, but it definitely was a thing for a very long period of time. For those of us that were there for that. So I
Because
get what you're saying there.
that was the CLS counter
That
when
was in
Wampa wouldn't beat that
that
Wampa
was
could
in
not
vogue.
beat a CLS, but Savage could.
That was in vogue for a while.
Yep.
Um, this ability sets up Showboat with extra stacks of bleed,
Yes.
off balance, and with some offensive power to make it feel impactful. As a fairly quick ability, it's also great for keeping buffs off the enemy squad. In scenarios where he brings in allies with him, this ability allows him to redirect attention. Some clarity here. If I call my allies to assist, will it prevent me from getting the bonus turn for everyone getting off balance? You will still get a bonus turn for landing the off balance, even if your allies immediately trigger its effect by assisting. It says if Rotta had a full squad of Huckertels, what does this mean? It means that in 3v3 Grand Arena, there are 3 characters in the squad, and they are all Hutt Cartel. Similarly, in 5v3 battles, you will need to field 5 Hutt Cartel, 5 characters that are Hutt Cartel. So this is really interesting because normally in kits, undermanning isn't supposed to change whether or not an ability can be used, right? So when this says while in Grand Arenas, and it actually doesn't even make sense because it says while in Grand Arenas, if all allies were Hutt Cartel at the start of battle, the first part says this ability can't be evaded or resisted. And then the second part says if Rotta was the only ally at the start of battle. But then in the FAQ clarity, it's saying that in 3v3, you must have all 3 slots filled. And in 5v5, you must have all 5 slots filled.
So I think I'm reading the kit on GG. It's like the classic paragraph that I think the wall in GAC, if all allies were Hutt Cartel at the start, this ability can't be evaded or resisted. If he's the only one, is a separate
Yeah, but
paragraph
but
entirely.
when you look in the game, the white text is while in Grand Arenas if all allies were Hutt Cartel at the start of battle. So does this mean that if he goes in because if you just look at this in game based on other things in this game, I would think this ability can't be evaded or resisted would work if he's solo.
I normally I would agree with you, but not based off of what they're saying here. Unless it's hold on. If we read,
Just from the
I'm gonna go
kit.
read. Well, I'm gonna read Wampa's kit because I think in Wampa's,
Okay.
so it says while in GAC, if there are no other active allies at the start of battle,
Yes.
Wampa gains that. So they basically, I think this is their, um it's not, I don't think it's worded correctly. I agree with you. I see where you're
It's it's
going. I
it's
think it
worded in a way that makes me believe, just from the in-game kit, that the ability can't be evaded or resisted should work even if he's the only ally. But the clarity is
yes.
telling me not. So if that is the case, this wording needs to be changed in my head anyway.
Yes. Yeah, I wanted to read Wampas to see how they phrase that, because it is a very, like, but
Because
it kinda
like
reminds me, it reminds me a little bit like Conquest, where it'd be like, win with a full team of Sith. It doesn't count Bane and somebody else.
right,
You need that
but that says
5.
full team. It doesn't say if all
Yeah,
allies. If
yeah,
full
yeah, yeah.
team
I see
means
what you're
5
saying.
or 3. So I do think that that needs to be reworded if that FAQ clarity is as
Almost like
stated
a,
and correct.
if all other allies are Hutt Cartel or something,
Well, not because
for the first line.
even that they are all Hutt Cartel if they're not there. It should just
Not,
say
I was
it,
saying all other allies.
yeah, no.
If you
I
say that
understand that.
all, because they differentiate all other and all allies,
No, I understand. So
which is,
all
yeah.
allies means him too. All other allies means only the other 4. But what it should
Yep.
say, if the FAQ is correct, is while in Grand Arenas, um, if a full team of Hutt Cartel, something along, because that's the only way that tells me that all slots are filled.
Yeah, it really is poorly worded for what they're trying to accomplish, I think.
Yes, because you need to have consistency. And someone
Yes,
is going to
yeah.
tell me I'm wrong, and I don't care, and that's fine. But we're going to move on.
No, I agree with you. I'm there.
Um, Special 2, Showboat. Deal physical damage to all enemies. Trigger all stacks of bleed on them. Detonate all thermal detonators on them. And stun them for 1 turn. If Rotta was the only ally at the start of battle, this stun can't be evaded or resisted. If any enemy is defeated by this ability, all Hutt Cartel allies gain 20% turn meter. So that would include him because he is an ally, not all other allies.
Correct.
While in Grand Arenas, if all allies were Hutt Cartel at the start of battle, tank allies recover 10% protection for each enemy damaged by this ability, and attacker allies gain 10% defense penetration, stacking max 50% each time this ability is used. If Rotta was the only ally at the start of battle, this ability instantly defeats enemies below 40% health, excluding Galactic Legends and raid bosses. And Rotta recovers 50% health and protection for each enemy defeated by this ability. So again, when we talk about this wording, that top half of the Omicron with the attacker allies with defense penetration should apply, but apparently won't apply.
Yes, I was laughing as I was reading it, and I'm like, we're gonna have the same
It's the
thing to
same
say
thing.
about this. Yeah,
And
they
there's no clarity here on any of it, but that's yeah.
yeah, I feel like they almost it's like even in like the regular ability, if Rada was the only ally at the start, this stun can't be evaded or resisted. So that's gonna work in any game mode. That will
Yes.
work. So it just is very, again, it's another very interesting way that they're trying to like build character kits, and I'm excited for that. But the wording,
The
it
wording
reminds me
needs
of
to
like,
be fixed.
yes, there was I forget when it was that they went through and updated a bunch of kits so the wording started to make sense.
Yeah, and look, every game does this, right? So you look at like Magic the Gathering, which is like a 30-year-old nerd game that it just has persisted through time. And if you look at cards from 1990 and you look at the same printing of those cards in 2025, they went from just having text that explains things to very specific, like this is this thing, this means
Yeah,
that thing. And it's very mechanical now, right? And CG has tried to do that, and overall they're pretty good at it. But in this instance, I'm
I think,
just a little bit more confused now.
yeah, I think they could have done a better job here.
But again, we have this a month early, so maybe they will provide that clarity. Maybe they will tweak the wording, to give us that explanation a
Yeah,
little bit better.
I mean, the classic subject to change.
Yes,
I mean,
exactly. Which, fine. Just I want to know.
yeah, yes.
His leader ability. Hutt Cartel allies gain 50% accuracy and critical avoidance, 200% defense, 75% offense, 50 speed, and 40% tenacity. Dark side Hutt Cartel allies and Rotta gain 75% counter chance and 50% critical chance. The first time each Hutt Cartel ally falls below 50% health, they gain damage immunity for 1 turn, recover 20% health and protection, and ally tanks taunt for 2 turns. Whenever
Pa-
a dark
Pause. Hold on.
side,
Pause.
yeah, okay,
Pause there for a sec. So I was wondering. I didn't want to say it until because I didn't read. I didn't read the kit, so I wanted to pause. Go back to think about the basic ability. The
uh,
gaining speed, and he'll recover the
okay,
health and protection when he uses his basic.
yes,
That was not locked on his turn. That just says when he uses his basic.
it is, yes, it is not locked to his turn.
So that 75% counter chance can do some wonders for you.
That's true.
Where if that gets triggered, gaining
Right.
speed, recovering your health and protect. Now the speed caps at 100, but the health and protection is just going to continually happen. So this is going to be a character that will be very challenging to work around because
Yeah,
of that.
because that's if he's
Since you're
solo,
not,
so of course you're going to be hitting him.
yeah, and I mean
That
75%. I
that's a
mean,
lot.
Star Killer. That's
That's a lot.
100% as far as I'm concerned.
That's a lot. Unless you have to bring in people that cannot counter,
It's
cannot be
only it's
countered.
only my it's only my Rada that won't get that 75%, but
Right.
everybody else,
That's
I'll
like my
make up for
profundity.
everybody
My
else's.
my
Yeah.
profundity never assists. I'll go through a whole
Yes.
battle where I get like 1 assist. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, really? I took a 76 banner battle and it's now a 71 banner battle because not a single assist. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Um, Whenever a dark side Hutt Cartel ally or Rada inflicts a stack of bleed or a thermal detonator on an enemy, they gain 5% turn meter and recover 5% health and protection. If Rada the Hutt was the only ally at the start of battle, he gains 250% max health and max protection, 50% health steal, 25 speed. He can't be instantly defeated. That's where he trumps Wampa. And whenever he is
Yep.
ability blocked, blinded, dazed, feared, or stunned, he dispels it and inflicts 1 stack of bleed until the end of the encounter and 1 thermal detonator on all enemies for 2 turns, which can't be evaded or resisted. If it can't be dispelled, he also gains damage immunity for 1 turn, which can't be dispelled. What?
So I'm thinking the stun from like Supreme Leader Kylo Ren or
Oh. So like
isn't
if it's a locked buff, if one of those things is locked, if one
yes,
of those things is
Sith,
locked, he doesn't unlock it, but he gains damage immunity instead,
which can't be unlocked.
which also can't. That's kind of cool. That's interesting.
So like
That's new.
Sith Eternal's basic when he's an ultimate with shock, you'll put damage immunity onto Rada,
Yeah. So that's a way to
and you
say
won't be able to get around.
well, you can't dispel it, but you're gonna outlast it.
Well,
Like
s- so he in that case, I'm thinking like against a Sith Eternal, he will never you will never almost never be able to damage him.
yeah,
Or I should say you're gonna have to really ramp yourself up to actually kill him because you're gonna shock him. He's gonna gain damage immunity. You're gonna attack again probably before he takes a turn.
I mean, that battle's never going to happen because Rada has to be by himself, so he can't be on defense. So unless you like screw it up and
Oh
he's the
yeah,
only one
yeah,
left, and C, you're never putting on defense anyway. So that battle is going to be so disgustingly rare, but that would be a situation that could happen. Yes.
yeah. I was thinking of a situation, guys. My bad. I
Yes.
wasn't reading the whole thing.
Mike, the
But yeah,
situation. Yes. Um. All right, and his
but
unique.
fracture
Okay. Yeah.
fracture will fuck him up.
Yes, because
Because
that is
that's
not one
not
of them. That
yes.
is not one of
And
them.
new
Yes.
Vader,
Has
this will be a something to avoid.
his unique Pedunky Muffkin. All Hutt Cartel tanks taunt for 2 turns at the start of battle. Whenever dark side support allies attack an enemy, all allies recover 10% health, protection, and turn meter. Dark side Hutt Cartel allies and Rotta can ignore taunt effects during their turn. All Hutt Cartel allies are immune to cooldown increases, and Rotta is immune to thermal detonators. If Rotta the Hutt had a full squad of Hutt Cartel, see, this is where it says full squad. This
Yep.
is
Yep.
that makes sense. Full squad. If Rotta the Hutt had a full squad of Hutt Cartel allies at the start of battle, whenever they have turn meter removed, Rotta has a 50% chance to gain a bonus turn. If Rotta the Hutt was the only ally at the start of battle, whenever an enemy removes turn meter from him, he deals damage to all enemies equal to 10% of their max health. This damage can't defeat enemies and has an additional 30% chance to gain bonus turn. Okay. I mean, he's got. I think you're right. In like TW, you're going to throw him with all Hot Cartel. And it seems
Yeah.
like we don't want to take Skiff. We don't want to take Bosch. So it's going to
No,
be
you're gonna
mostly
take
the unused.
you're gonna bring Gamguard, you're
Yeah.
gonna bring your like Boba Fett, probably Mob Enforcer, and like Cad Bane, probably, something like that.
Yeah. And that's going to be TW. But in
Yep.
GAC, I think you would be insane to not make this your offensive
Yeah.
powerhouse. And then obviously we have large character, and large character essentially
You
says that you
did you
cannot
skip
throw
his
Machado.
you skipped his last the Omicron on the unique.
Oh, did I? Oh, I did. Oh, wait, sorry. So the unique is while in Grand Arenas, if all allies are Hot Cartel at the start of battle, right? Doesn't say full Hot Cartel.
Can they that would be the if Meathead I'm sure Meathead listens to your stuff. Can they change this to if he has a full squad? And I think,
Yes.
like you said, that's the good differentiator that they should go with.
Yes. And you know what? Here's the thing, though. Because because some of the Omicron says just regular text and half of it says if he was the only one, I think it should say while in Grand Arenas, if all allies are Hutt Cartel at the start of battle. But then in the blue text, there should be a colon that says if a full team of Hutt Cartel. And then on the bottom where it says if Rotta is the only ally at the start of battle, same thing, right? Differentiate. This is for
Yeah.
full team.
Yeah.
This is for solo team. It's the only way, because otherwise this is going to be really confusing. I mean, I'm excited for the kid. I'm not excited for any of these characters. I've said it before. I don't really care about New Republic. That's a me problem. That's not a game problem. This
I would
kit
agree.
makes me excited because it's just silly. It's fun. It's interesting. It's a new Bane. It's a new Wampa. It's something different to try. I'm always there for that.
Also, I'm reading his. You didn't read You didn't even read the Omicron. We skipped over
Oh,
the.
we skipped reading the Omicron because we were talking. Okay, hold on. So, while in Grand Arenas, if all allies are Heart Cartel at the start of battle, all allies gain 50% max health. If all of Rota's other allies are Dark Side, whenever they are or Rota are inflicted with a debuff, they inflict a thermal detonator on the enemy that applied it for 2 turns, which can't be evaded or resisted. Whenever Rada defeats an enemy, the cooldown of Showboat is decreased by 1, and all allies gain bonus protection until the end of encounter. If Rada is the only ally at the start of battle, he takes reduced damage from percent health effects, and defeated enemies can't be revived.
He's
going to be a menace.
That's going to be a problem for I think a lot of teams.
He is
That's
going to
gonna
be a
be a
menace to
problem.
fight. I think I mean, we don't really see it on defense a lot. I think that like if you see Leia on defense, he's probably going to get fucked up by it because of the AoE fracture. Not that the fracture in being AoE would matter if he's solo, um, but he's going
Yeah.
to be a
I
problem. He's going to be a delete team.
It's gonna be a I'll be curious what GL teams he will and won't struggle against.
Yeah, I think he's going to be
You know what I mean? Like,
Jabba,
there's
right? Because he has so much anti-thermal.
yeah, and I'd even say I think potentially against Lord Vader, maybe.
There's all the debuffs,
Yeah, the
right?
debuffs and the only thing there, the ability to ignore taunt would also be really big for him because he can go straight after
Anybody.
Lord Vader. Well, he'd have to go for Lord Vader because he's not a Galactic Legend himself. So you got to go for Lord Vader because of Oppo. Um,
Yeah, but you can go after
but
CX2 to no, because he'll be under stealth.
you can't
Yeah,
target CX2 while Oppo's alive.
yeah, okay, all right. So Lord
But
Vader, but you
either,
can focus him.
yeah, you can focus, which because that's a problem for some characters is you've got it, you're stuck behind the freaking taunt of the
Yeah.
Scorch. Um, but yeah, no, I'll be curious what he does. It's gonna be one of those teams where it's like you're curious what he does and doesn't beat. Because we're getting
Yes.
to I don't know if you feel this way in GAC now, but it's like it's really it's almost coming down to an efficiency battle and not so much like, all right, I'm gonna try to score 1860 or whatever, but you have enough teams to clear. Like you can drop a ton of battles on offense and still full clear your opponent.
It depends on
And
what you're
so
fighting against, but otherwise I'd agree, right? Because there's always like 2 or 3 Datacron teams where it's like there's one counter. You don't if your counter doesn't
yeah,
work, you're
yeah.
fucked. But overall, you're right. I've had really shitty GACs where I've dropped like 8 battles and I still manage a full clear. And I'm like, I don't know how I did it, but I did.
Like the fact I've spent like 4 teams, like and 3 like one of them was like Stranger, Slicker, Jedi Master Kenobi, and like something else to like try to kill a Hondo team at one point.
Yeah.
And I still full cleared and you're like, this is insane. Like that's not I should not be able to spend those 4 teams in full clear. But that's kind of the state of GAC right now. So this is gonna add just another layer of ridiculousness.
It's just another offense team, right? And that's what we have. We have so many of these offense teams and it just kind of keeps building and building and building. Um last quick thing for tonight, because again, we did get all of these new kits, but the one important thing that I think anyway with these new kits is that if you go to, I think is it Colonel Ward's kit, and we look at the Omicrons, it's, I don't know if it's all on the Omicrons, but it says if there's an allied New Republic Galactic Legend, or there are no other Galactic Legends in the battle. Now, we have future proofing in some kits that say things like, as long as there's no Separatist Galactic Legend, as long as there's no this Galactic Legend. But we never really see it in a kit unless there is an upcoming Galactic Legend. And I think that this essentially hard proves the fact that McClunky did actually hack my emails, and that apparently I did know about a GL Din Djarin, the Mandalorian, ahead of time, and that he is coming to the game. Would you say that that is fair?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
I feel like GL Mando is the I'm can whether or not I think he's a galactic legend worthy of that title is
Okay.
besides the point. But I think
Do you
in
not think
the
he's worthy of that
direction
title?
not at all. Not at
No.
all.
Can I ask why?
I would
What? I'm sorry. I know you're
I
going on a point, but my here's my question. Let me change my question. What is a galactic legend to you?
I mean, I was gonna say let me filter on the ones we have because
Okay.
I would argue that I don't think Jabba's worthy of that title, which is
Okay.
might be a hot take from a lot of people, but I don't
Strong
feel
disagree
Jabba's
with you, but okay.
But I don't think he's worthy of that. I
Okay.
agree with Ahsoka.
Okay.
I hate the characters of Rey and Kylo,
Okay. Yeah,
but
I don't like
they
them, but
they deserve the GL status for being the main characters of the trilogies that they were in. Like
okay.
they were the main characters. Leia, absolutely. Lord Vader, Kenobi, absolutely. Um, I think I said Ahsoka, yes. Want to make
You
sure I
did it.
get that
You
in
did.
there.
Yeah.
Ahsoka. Hondo, I love. No.
Okay.
He does not deserve GL. And then Luke and Sith Eternal, yes, they deserve it, but not in the forms that we have. I'd
Okay.
rather it be like the
Yeah, like Jedi
Darth
Knight Luke, right? Like,
Sidious.
yeah, I get it.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
But regardless, so there's a couple that we have with. I just don't think Jabba's a like Darth Vader's a much more deserving. I get we got Lord Vader, but I think Darth Vader's a much more deserving GL type, and I think we're
But
missing
just
like Han Solo.
but just character to character. The only two that we have currently in game that you disagree with are Jabba and Pirate King Hondo. Just character to
Correct.
character.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And so with Din Djarin, I just don't feel like he's popular
Mhm.
because he's kind of new, fresh, and it's one of the few Disney shows they've made recently that wasn't completely terrible
Okay. Yeah.
because they kind of had a bunch of stinkers there for a while. But I don't know that I would if I'm making a Mount Rushmore of Star Wars characters, he's gonna be so far down that list of where I would think to put in.
So
Like
I approach this
I would
differently.
put Bo-Katan as a
Interesting.
GL before I would put him.
Interesting. I guess I approach this differently. When I think of Galactic Legend, the way that I think of it is if you're a legend, it means that you're well known, that people know you, right? Like it doesn't necessarily mean that you're the best. It just means that like you're well regarded among a massive number of people. And then when I think about the fact that we would necessarily kind of want a GL for every major faction, right? Not like the super minor factions, but like for every major faction. I think of like Pirate King Hondo. I don't really resonate with the character. I don't give a shit about pirates at all. But I think that he is a character that if we were to talk about in universe, he's somebody who is feared. He is somebody that is well known. He is somebody that has a reputation as the main pirate. It doesn't matter if he has a lightsaber. It doesn't matter if he can use the force. It doesn't matter if he has big muscles. What matters is that he is the top of what is essentially an entire factional organization. And that to me says, yeah, he is a galactic legend. I don't care about the character. Yes, I agree with it. Same thing with Jabba the Hutt.
So
The
so
Hutts, yeah.
who's the top Jedi then?
But so yes, when we talk about like top, right? There's multiple Jedi.
like
But
like if
Jedi, you're right. I understand what you're saying, but Jedi
yeah,
is a faction that spans such a long period of
I
time within this game, right? It spans
yeah, I
such a long period of time in this game that you're going to have multiple. I'm just saying that, like, when we look at the Jedi GL, uh, Jedi Master Kenobi is like at that time period, he is like one of the most well regarded, well respected Jedi across the entire fucking galaxy. And everybody knows about Jedi during that time period of like the Clone Wars. Makes sense to me.
yeah.
Jabba the Hutt, every fucking series we've ever seen, everybody fears the Hutts. Everybody's like, whoa, I don't want to even talk about the Hutts. Like, get the fuck away from me with the Hutts. Jabba to me strikes fear in everybody's eyes. I I I couldn't see him as anything other than a galactic legend. Din
Yeah,
Djarin again doesn't resonate with me. I don't give a shit. I don't care. I love Pedro
I would
Pascal, but
I mean,
like,
I'm
yeah,
I've got
okay.
the shirt on. I still don't think he's deserving of the GL title. And I say Bo-Katan because I think she's a much more this might be a hot take. I think she's a much more interesting character. And it might be just a little bit of nostalgia of having her in Clone Wars and Rebels, kind of spanning a longer period of time. But like I would argue that Maul is probably one of the most loved and in some cases feared Sith
I could see
characters that we
Maul as
have.
being someone who could have been, not now, right? Because we have every pretty much instance of or
Yes.
iteration. Like
Yeah.
you could do, people are gonna be like, oh, you could do Shadow Lord because of like the show, right? But like to me, that's the same as the one that
Yeah.
we already have in Conquest.
I'll get I would be very pissed off if we got another version of him, only because, like you said, how many more do we need? We're starting to, like, at that point, we're really scraping the bottom of the barrel. Like,
Yeah,
we're getting into the Han Solo territory of, like,
of like
we
18
got
Han
too many.
Solos.
Yeah, like, um, so yeah, it's I'm never going to complain that they're, progressing the game. I just think there's more deserving characters that could be added. And again, maybe I'm a nostalgia merchant, call me what you want.
Look,
I'm here for it, guys.
I agree with you with Maul. Um, I don't agree with the Mandalorian. I think that when we talk about the New Republic era, even not being a big proponent of the New Republic era, that he is somebody that kind of carries that era, so it does make sense to me. Um, we don't know if he is going to be the GL, obviously, but he's going to be the GL. There doesn't seem to be anybody else for the New Republic, and it just makes sense.
Yeah,
Um,
and I also just think New Republic is such like a like do you how many New Republic people like when they say like, "Oh, these are the New Republic characters," like
yeah.
the New Republic was the smallest part of the sequel trilogy. Like I
Yeah,
saw
but
somebody
they're
say like
expanding on that now.
they are, but somebody was like, "Why the fuck is there a resistance if there's a New Republic?
Yeah.
Like, why is
Yes.
this not like
It's like, wait a second. Yes.
Like, they
Yeah.
think there's a whole government here, and they're like, "Oh, we're just gonna let this, freaking, multi-planet killing base exist."
We're
Um,
hopefully they will fill that in and we will know what happens. Now
uh,
my last question on this though, because as I'm thinking about it, do you think the GL is gonna be Din Djarin, or do you think it's gonna be like the Mandalorian and Grogu? Do you think it's gonna be both of them together as a team, or is it gonna be like just him? Because I have a
I
feeling it's
feel
going to be
like
both of them, and I'm going to be annoyed
I feel like
because I
it
feel like Grogu isn't. It's like this guy and Grogu, this guy and Grogu, and I'm like, come on, I'm done. It's the same character.
yeah, I feel like it'll be both. I feel like it'll have to be both, like, just the
Okay,
movie is The Mandalorian and Grogu. Like, the title, the artwork for the damn app is the 2 of them
is
together,
both of
like,
them.
and I mean, I love I don't want people to think I hate The Mandalorian. Like, I very much enjoy it. I just don't think he's GL material, but I have I don't think we need 10 GLs. I'd be happier with, like, 8 that I really love and care about. But regardless, um, they have pushed the 2 of them together for so like season 3 had its problems, but
Hmm.
when Grogu sees Mando on Tatooine and, like, force jumps into him to give him a hug, I'm
Yeah,
just sitting there like, like, I was almost as bad as the end of season 2. Season 2, that was a, like,
yeah. Well,
that's like a
you know,
that's up there with, like
I could spend
that's up there with
45
Jedi.
minutes. I could spend 45 minutes about how annoyed I was by season 2, and the reason why is like that was such a great fucking reveal, and then they're like, oh,
Yeah.
just kidding, he doesn't like Jedi Knight Luke. It's like,
Yeah,
we
yeah,
did this huge fucking reveal. Nah, it's fine. Don't worry about it. And that
but
kind of
it's like
annoyed me.
it's like that's up there with, like, Jedi Knight for me of, like, yeah, that's just gonna get me to, like, automatically cry
Yeah,
every time I watch it.
I got you.
But anyway.
We're doing something different tonight because we figured that we would end a little bit early. For the first time, we are asking some viewer questions. Um,
Yes.
this is not the Three Scoundrels, folks. For those viewers who are asking ridiculous questions about stupid things, I do enjoy the Three Scoundrels. I love all of the Scoundrels. I cannot wait to meet them at Star Wars Celebrations. But We were looking for very specific questions, and no, we're not going to answer all of them because this is not a 4-hour podcast. But there are a few that I think do have some discussion value. I've put a few of them in our notes, Phil. I do not think we're going to get to all of them based on the time we have left, so we're going to try to keep it concise. But starting off with our first question, and I am only doing this because I love him so very much. Shadow asks, "Game's dead."
Yeah,
What are your thoughts?
the game's got. Yeah, to quote the great Sean Dyke, the game's gone. The game's gone. Um, the carrot, Road to the Hutt, this New Republic era is utter woke nonsense.
God, I
I don't know if everybody knows. I don't know if everybody knows who Sean Dyke is to appreciate those quotes. So I apologize for putting up with my soccer humor. Um, but no, I mean, it, I have hated for so long that everybody's like Swago is dying, like Swago's dead. It's like there are definitely aspects of this game that are dying, like
yeah.
territory wars. Right? That's up in terms of like dead game modes. That's like number 2 on the list after Fleet Arena. Because that's just a mess for so many
Yeah.
reasons.
I think one of the biggest times where I was really frustrated with this game was right around the anniversary when they changed everything with Coliseum, with eras, and none of it really made sense. And then it got a little bit worse with the era of Andor when I felt like they really didn't follow through on making eras better at all. Um, I do think that they have done that with the era of New Republic, and overall, I'm not at my happiest I've ever been, but I do think that in general, the majority of what's going on right now, I am at least content with. There are things I'm
It,
frustrated with. There are upcoming things like era PvP. We have still refrained from talking about it until we find out more
woke
about it.
nonsense.
But I overall am pretty okay with where the game is at right now.
No, I think I said this. I forget how many podcasts ago it was, but I said this is the fastest that they've ever reacted to changing something in the game. Like within, you think 2 iterations of the era content, and they scrapped the or scrapped the summoned units and made them loaned units. Like they've
My
given us
only
a lot of
argument
them
there
too.
was that early on, they did say that loaned units were coming. They just weren't ready yet. So summoned
Yeah,
units were always going to be temporary.
but they've done it. I think they've rolled it out very quickly because they could have just kept going with that, and for how long? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
they,
The the
they,
one
they,
thing the one thing I have a problem with is because eras are 3 months. They seem pretty allergic to making. I know you can't change the leveling system during an era, but they seem pretty allergic to making any era related changes during an era when there's clearly
yes,
something wrong. And I am frustrated with that because you go, oh, this is fucked. It'll be fixed in 3 months. Um,
yeah, or even like I think we should have gotten the crate dragon in the last era.
yeah,
Only because it give us time where we understand those characters now, and we have this new boss. We started with a whole new era on the crate dragon,
you
and
know
I
what I
felt like that
love?
was
Go ahead.
I felt like that was a very poor design on their part that let some aspect of that shift be comfortable to the player base.
Yeah,
Hey, I know the Jotaz, I know the Zepho Tomb Guardians, and I know the bane of my fucking existence, the Dryax.
fucking dry
Like,
axe.
let me try something there, even though I do the best on the Dryax. Let me, have some comfortability before you throw me into the wolves with the freaking Crate Dragon.
I will say that I do love the Crate Dragon. I think the Crate Dragon is really well designed because it's very auto friendly, but you will do better on manual, right? So, like, if you played on manual,
Yeah.
yes, you're going to do better, but it's very auto friendly. Dryax is obviously terrible at being auto friendly. You cannot auto that. It's a shit show. Zepho Guardians, you can auto if you're a little above where you're supposed to be, but otherwise it's going to be a shit show. The Crate Dragon, you can do pretty okay on auto, but you'll get like 15% more if you play it on manual. And I do kind of appreciate that.
Yeah.
Um,
It, the
we
single bosses are normally going to be better for auto
yes,
than the
yes, and I really wish they got rid of Dryax this time, but I get it. I understand. I whatever. It is what it is. We did have some. We had some really good questions, especially for
yeah, they're
such a last minute thing. This one is from our dear friend user, who he sent me a bunch of questions, but this is the one that I picked out. We have had a few cycles now with one Datacron set per month, but less factions. How does it feel versus the initial doom and gloom? What would you hope the next DC set to be about? Do you want to take this first?
yeah. So this one Datacron set a month is terrible.
Okay.
There's no way around it for me. Um Again, the game needs to have a sustainable revenue stream, and Datacrons are that revenue stream. Whether we like to admit that or not, that's really what they are. But I felt the strain as a I buy the episode pass, guys, and that's it. I'm very vocal about that. So like I am a free to play when it comes to Datacrons. I think it's way too much to ask of us. It feels more complex than ever with the constantly shifting from one set to the next. And although it's less factions in a particular set, there are 6 factions active at a time, which is, it doesn't feel, again, before it would be almost like, I think, 8. But I feel like a lot of times there's much broader factions that are getting targeted now than what we had before.
I think the other
Um,
thing now with the more complex sets versus the more basic sets now is previously you would have like 2 to 3 factions in a set with a bunch of level 6s, a bunch of level 9s. You were less inclined to face the I don't want to say Uber set because that was a particular thing, but like an Uber cron because it was a little bit harder to roll. But now I feel like because it is easier to roll them in Kyber 1, Kyber 2, everybody has a vein cron, right?
yep.
And that's going to be the thing going through. Whatever the isolated best cron is, everybody is going to have that cron, and you are always going to face that. I'm not against players who spend a lot more money than I do having an advantage. I've always said that. I like you, I know that the game needs to have a revenue source, but what I'm more frustrated with has less to do with the money and less to do with the advantage and more to do with the time commitment of understanding of a new Datacron set. I feel like
Oh,
by the time I'm comfortable enough to know a set and know what needs to be rolled, new set has popped and I'm just fatigued from it. I am so very fatigued. So it's not even for me oh my god, these players are beating me because they have 80 more datacrons than me and they have the money to do that. It's just I'm tired, man. I don't want to read
and
another datacron.
they said like, "Oh, we're gonna be reducing the complexity," but like they've made it more complex. It's just a single faction that's super complex. Like if you
Yes.
read that, like the Vein Cron, if you really read it and understand it, that is a ridiculously complex Datacron. Because it's not just about the max health damage. It's like, oh, you damage the other pirates and he gains offense, and so there's so many layers to peel it back from.
I could be wrong, but I think when they say complexity, they just literally meant the ease of rolling and not having to worry about different factions. That I could be wrong there, but that I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure that that's what they meant. Um,
yeah,
I am frustrated with the sets being once a month just because as someone who spends less on them, I liked the cadence of okay, the first conquest I'm rolling. By the second conquest, I am refining. And I feel like
yes.
now by the time a set is out, I just have to guess. I just have to guess
Yep.
and go, oh, what is the right thing? And then by the time I know, the set is a third over, and I don't want to waste money or resources on something that's 30% through. Um,
Yes. And you've also gotta always be mindful of, all right, like this power and or peace and power set that, it's the blue set. Because the new set, by the way, that he was like, it's in game, so we can like,
yes, I
kind of.
saw Tassanex gave me some recommendations, but I have not read anything about the set yet.
I took a look at it briefly. I'm excited for one of them that's coming.
What
And it's not the one everybody's thinking about. But I don't wanna interact with peace and power anymore because this next set is coming and I've gotta be prepared with my resources for that. And
yes.
I think it also doesn't match up territory wars and reroll materials. For that
Yeah.
first bit, you're really screwed if you don't get the ones you want.
If you don't
And
win
I
those
think that
territory
there's
wars, you're fucked.
yeah, I mean, sandbagging McGee right here.
I've actually noticed
Shout out.
we don't actively sandbag, and I've noticed we've won. I don't know the exact stats. I can actually look right now because I'm curious. Sleeping Gungalorians, TW. We have won in the last 3 months 85% of our TWs because I feel like one, less people in my guild are joining, and we do ask people to join. We go, hey guys, join.
Yep.
And two, other guilds are also caring less now. And
Yeah.
so we're just
Our
winning because there's so much apathy.
our last loss was to Sigma Alpha. So it's one of our like it's like the biggest guild in our
Your big guild.
alliance. That was our last loss. Yeah.
Now, the
I mean
second part of that question is what do you want the next set to be? I know what it is for me, which is, of course, Gungans and Night Sisters. I don't even care if there's any rhyme or reason, but it would be Gungans and Night Sisters because my Gungans fuck, and I enjoy my Night Sisters team.
uh I would pick, man, if I really think about this. Um I'd probably go unaligned force users
Fuck you.
because it just impacts so many different teams
So Ray.
and it's always
So
so much
Ray.
fun because there's so much fuckery that goes on
So
where
you
you're
want
like,
a Ray
"Oh,
fuck you
you
defense. Okay. Because we don't have
well,
that
you've got
every
to."
fucking set.
No, 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 no. I'm not thinking about Ray. I'm thinking about like the Star Killers, the Seers, the Malakoses, the Inquisitors, Balin's Mercenaries. There's all those teams that just like, oh yeah, Ufus helps them too. Like everybody gets focused on Ray, and I'm looking at everything else like hell yeah.
Yeah, which is great,
Um,
but Ray just has a disproportionate.
all they have to do during that set, Christ alive, CG, if you hear this, don't put fucking 15 and 15 as the level 3. Don't have health steal, offense or health or defense as any of the stats. Go back to shit stats. Like make it like armor pen and resistance pen. Because then it doesn't matter for Ray because she's gonna sudden whirlwind and ultimate anyway, so it doesn't help her. Um,
Well,
there's ways
it
around
does
this, and
because of Ben. Ben hits like a
yeah, but
truck if you have him
that's
modded, right?
you've gotta hope you roll resistance pen because armor pen doesn't help him.
Correct. Um,
Uh, but
you have
but yeah,
a
so
final thought
Ufus
on
for
this?
me,
Okay,
and
yeah,
the other
Ufus.
one would probably be if I look at the factions and I think about it. I mean, I'd maybe love if they did um some Mandalorians. I feel like it's been
Yeah,
a
it's
while
been a
since we've
while
had
since we have a Mandalorian one.
like like a fun Mandalorians one. Like
It's
make
not going to be next time.
yeah,
It's not going to be next
make
time
something.
because of GL Mando.
Yep,
They're
yeah.
gonna wait and they'll have like a Mandalorian and I don't know. They just it'll be a set that lets him just go fucking nuts. And it might be New
If
Republic, I don't know, but it's gonna
if the
affect
man
him.
if the man if the Mandalorian Grogu is in the leader slot, everybody gains the Mandalorian tag.
Everyone's fucked. You're all
Yeah.
fucked. Fuck all of you. Um we had a bunch of good questions. I think we have time for one more, even though I have a bunch here. This one's from Bodie and ODB. We have had 3 eras with 7 characters in each, plus Conquest, so a total of 24 in all. Is this pace actually sustainable in terms of modding and signal data, as gear isn't really a factor anymore? Or do they need to take their foot off of the gas?
Not if they keep fucking putting characters on 20 energy cantina nodes.
I I think, back in, I think it was 2018, they released like 20 characters and it burnt so many people out, and they actually
Yep.
apologized about it. They're like, we're not going to do this again. And I've said this before, the game is in a different place now, resource wise, where having that amount of characters is not as terrible a thing.
Correct.
I do, however, think that when it comes to so many characters with modding, I do 3 to 6 refreshes a day. It depends on what my necessary need is. I do buy from the mod store. I do feel like I am starting to, and to be fair, my mod sets, my mod uh what's the word for it? The gates, the filters. My mod filters are fairly restrictive. I do feel like I am getting to a point where I am starting to run out of good mods, and they are not building up the same way that they used to because I don't have the time. I'm finding that with these eras, that for the first like character and a half, I can do whatever I want. But after that first character and a half, I just have to sit and hoard for 2 months. I have to hoard mods because there's no mod system in place for me to put mods on these characters and save them. So I have to hoard mods and just kind of guess and check, which kind of goes back to your idea last time, your one good idea of sandbox mode and allowing new era characters to be played with there. I have to hoard relic materials because I need to make sure that I can get these characters up right away. So I feel like I am constantly in a state of just sitting and waiting with resources, whereas I used to be able to apply resources fairly liberally as long as I had like enough resources for like 1 or 2 characters. When it comes to signal data and relic material, I'm not as concerned with that because, for someone like Bodhi who is an ODB, I don't know what his spending levels are. I don't know if he's a whale. I know he's very big in the community, and a lot of creators know him, and he's a very, very, very smart individual. And his voice, I don't know if you've ever heard Bodhi's voice, but he has the voice of an angel, and just listening to him read kits is like this whole ASMR thing where you're just like, oh my God, where have you been my whole life? Um, I don't know what his spend level is, but I imagine that he is maximizing and doing fairly well with the era battles. And those are giving a lot of resources for players who are investing heavily. So I don't think that the resource management issue is so much. I do think there is a big modding struggle right now. And I don't think that there are enough modding avenues right now, even with 3 smuggler runs. I cannot keep up, and I'm feeling kind of frustrated with it. And because characters are coming out so quickly, I'm not learning kits before the next set of characters come out. And I'm like, I don't know. I kind of know how to play Spider Legs Maul, Stranger, and Starkiller. I have no fucking idea how to play Cassian right now. I literally have no idea. And I'm already thinking about Rotta the Hutt and those guys.
So it's interesting hearing you talk. Like, I'm not doing any mod refreshes at this point. I've stopped. I haven't done mod refreshes in forever. Um, and I started doing that because for me, I've noticed that where my bottlenecks were happening. Well, one, I had a very different approach to mods, and I got, I'd say, ahead of the curve. So for me, like, I mean, I'll be perfectly honest. I had a 6% offense mod secondary
Hmm.
that I didn't know who to put it on. Like, I could not find a good person to put that mod on because I wasn't quite fast enough.
Yeah.
So like I'm at that point in my account where it takes exceptional mods to move the needle. And that's great, right? That's awesome. And we're also at the point where you're not using every single character now. So some of those characters that have been sitting in my account for a while who I've been, all right, I'm not going to move your mods off of. We're moving mods now because you're not using them. Like I can remember for the longest time I did not touch Dark Troopers mods. And then finally I was like, all right, I can start, taking these away because I don't use you as a character. But I think the resource management has shifted, that it's more about how you're spending your crystals. Like
Yeah,
I'm
I would agree with that.
I think it's been an interesting shift for me where I don't do mod refreshes because I'm doing the signal data cache packs. I'm doing the marquee packs to get 5 stars. Um, and then the only time I'll spend crystals is to do Cantina refreshes and my 3 conquest refreshes for half the month. So it's just I think the management has changed. And in terms of the sustainability of that, I think Capital Games is kind of I've always said they have a lot more data than they'll probably ever let us know. And I think they're probably trying to figure out where they want the free to play community to be able to end up at the end of these eras
Eras.
and still be able to progress their legacy roster.
Yeah.
Because, like you said, one thing I'm noticing with mine as well, I'm obviously not taking these characters beyond Relic 4 because I can't do that right away. But the minute that they're 7-star, I've got to have everything to bring them to whatever Relic level I feel is appropriate.
Yeah.
And so you are kind of sitting on resources for the longest time and then kind of spending in batches.
Yes, and there's a new quality of life, right, where you can relic characters up to any relic level, and it's a beautiful quality of life. I wish it came out before the era of Andor was over, so that I could have taken advantage of it right away. But I,
Yeah.
I do feel like I'm in a holding pattern more often than I am in a upgrading my roster pattern, and I kind of like I do like to hoard a little bit, but I like to be able to enhance my roster. And right now I'm like, I can't upgrade this character. I can't upgrade that character. Like I have the Relic 10 material. I'd like to do Darth Revan just as a quality of life on my fleet arenas to have that like more auto friendly for myself. I can't do it because I have to sit here with these resources and wait on these characters. I will acquiesce that I am allergic to moving mods from old characters unless I happen to need like one mod and I'm like, fuck. But I just don't like remodding old characters and taking them away and moving things around. I just don't
Oh,
have the time for that. Um, I will acquiesce that I
I
am allergic to that, but it is a strategy I could utilize to take advantage of some older mods that are sitting on characters that are probably not using them right now.
yeah, I prioritized getting fully fleshed out mods for Cassian, Clea, Vel, and Cinta. And so some of that was just like
Just
salvaging
polling,
mod sets
just
from other
polling.
people. But then I also was like, I'd find a mod, I'd put it on somebody, start upgrading it, and then I made loadouts for them. So as soon as they hit my roster, I applied those loadouts, and then I went to those characters in the order of importance of all right, I use you, I don't use you,
Yeah,
and then equipped those mods that way. And then my ISB, I'm just modding from scratch.
because they are not that great.
Yeah.
Speaking of, when coming to modding and pulling from old characters, they need to add the character name to the portrait. Because I do this a little bit, like I don't do it a lot, but like if I'm looking at mods and I'm like, oh, do I want to pull this? I don't know which Wookiee is which Wookiee. I don't know which Jawa is which Jawa. They all look the fucking same. Seeing their portrait does not help me at all, even in the slightest. So I go, wait, is this a Chewbacca mod or is this veteran Chewie? Because I don't give a shit about veteran Chewie, but Chewbacca, I still want to have pretty decent mods. Like, please, CG. Like, I get it. I understand. Like,
Of
Cal,
of
Jedi
of
Knight
all the
Luke, different.
mod QOL that you could come up with, that's where you're at.
Oh, I
You're
have
not
so
at the
many.
point of like just fucking save the mods I have right now. Give me a button that will save them into a loadout thing for me
Dog,
today.
I've made that Reddit request already. I've put that out there. I think I made a video about it too. Years ago.
It,
Years and years ago. There was so much mod quality of life. We could do an entire Zeta protocol on mod quality of life. We literally could, because there is
I
a
just think it's
lot.
funny. I just think it's funny that it was give me the character name. And I'm like, I don't give a shit about that.
I
Just give
need
me
it.
a
I need it.
save.
I gotta tell you before we finish up though, I am my I don't want to say it. Well, for some reason I don't want to get into it right now. But I will be losing my access to hot utils in the near future, and I'm not looking forward to it because I've had it for like 4 years, and it's hot utils is amazing. If you have the money and you need to save time, fucking use hot utilities. But it is such a pain in the dick that CG has built us this ecosystem where a third party utility has had the ability to step in and be able to offer that. Not everything, but most of the things that hot utils offers for modding are things that should be in the game. Should be in the game. And people will still pay for hot utils because they have awesome TB tools. They have, this is not an
Yeah, they
ad, I
do.
swear. They pay me nothing. I don't even get a free fucking thing. They have other awesome tools, but every fucking mod thing that they are able to do should be in the game, and it's not.
Yeah, that the for I have a loadouts in my loadouts. I have one that's called base sets,
I
and it's
used
for
to
the
do that.
characters that
Yeah.
I'm most likely to move mods between.
I used
And
to,
then I just
back in the day, have a base set for every relic character.
yeah. Now
And
I
you can't even
can't
do
do
that
that because
now
there's not enough.
because there's only
But
200. Yeah.
Uh, but it's bad. The bad part now is like if I'm remodding for a raid, the one nice thing is most of the time I can hit the required stats
Hmm.
with like one character's mods. Like, oh, I'll just use
Yes.
Star Killer or I'll use
When you have
Slicker, and I can just do it that way. But yeah, it's not always the most fun.
GL mods definitely have helped that. I have noticed that. I have noticed that over my time playing the game. For those of you that we did not get to your questions, I apologize. Maybe we'll do this more often as long as we get some great discussion value. I think I'll keep some of these questions in our document because I do think that there are some that have some really nice merit as long as they are evergreen, because some of them will not be relevant in 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks. But with that said, Phil, do you have anything to end us out on?
Um, I don't. It felt like I've seen some people. It's like updates right now feel kind of bleh.
Yeah.
Like, they're not these major things because they kind of, blow they blow their load really early in the process, tell us everything that's gonna happen, and then we spend the rest of the time just like, "Oh, I already knew this."
Yeah.
But I wanna say in a more positive light that I think knowing that for a lot of us, even if it takes away the excitement, is a lot more beneficial to your planning, your resource management, and your ability to understand what you're investing in. That you not wanting to relic 10 your Darth Revan is coming from you knowing all of the stuff that's going
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
happen. Where before you would have spent that relic 10 Darth Revan, 2 weeks go by and there's a
Fuck.
announcement of it, like a new raid, and
Yeah.
you're like, son of a bitch. And you throw your phone and then you stare at that relic 10 Darth Revan, and then the new fleet gets announced 2 weeks after that. And so I think knowing the stuff that's coming is takes away your excitement, but from a planning standpoint, very beneficial.
Look at this. Phil's coming in with logic, which is very rare, but we've 2 episodes in a row we've had something smart from him. Um, with that said, guys, I got nothing else for you. Phil's got nothing else for you. We will see you in 2 weeks for the next episode. Peace out. Have a great rest of your night.